Most people don't have a money problem. They have a system problem because every month starts the same way. Your paycheck hits your account, you glance at the balance, and for a few seconds, everything feels under control. Then life happens. Rent gets paid, groceries get bought, a few subscriptions renew. You order food after a long day because cooking sounds like work. A couple impulse purchases sneak in, and somehow, by the end of the month, you're staring at your account, wondering where all the money went. What's strange is that most people already know the advice they're supposed to follow. Track every expense, build a detailed budget, cut unnecessary spending. But here's the problem. Most people don't quit budgeting because they're lazy. They quit because the process feels like a second job. Every purchase needs a category. Every receipt needs attention. Every decision feels like homework. And after a few days, most people stop doing it. So that raised an interesting question. What if managing money didn't need to be complicated? What if there was a system simple enough to follow consistently, but effective enough to actually make a difference? That's what led me to test something called the 50-30-20 rule for 30 days. And what happened surprised me more than I expected. My name is Nathan, and I used to struggle with budgeting. If you've had issues with budgeting in the past, then this video is for you. First, let's talk about what this rule actually is. Because despite sounding like some complicated financial formula, it's incredibly straightforward. Every dollar you earn gets divided into 3 buckets. 50% goes toward needs, 30% goes toward wants, 20% goes toward saving, investing, or paying off debt. That's the entire system. No giant spreadsheet, no 40 different spending categories, no endless tracking. Just 3 simple buckets. Needs are the expenses required for daily life. Groceries, transportation, insurance, the essentials. Then come wants. Restaurants, entertainment, shopping, streaming services, weekend activities. The things that make life more enjoyable but aren't absolutely necessary. And finally, the last portion goes toward building your future. Savings, investments, or reducing debt. Simple, at least on paper. Now here's where things got interesting. Before trying this system, I was skeptical. A lot of financial advice sounds amazing until it collides with real life. The internet is full of perfect plans, created by people who somehow never get tempted by takeout, never overspend, and apparently enjoy updating spreadsheets for fun. Real life doesn't work like that. So I wanted to test whether this rule could actually survive outside of a finance textbook. Let's look at a simple example. Imagine someone brings home $4,000 each month after taxes. Under the 50-30-20 rule, that breaks down into $2,000 for needs, $1,200 for wants, $800 for saving and investing. Clear, simple, easy to understand. But when I compared that framework to actual spending habits, something immediately stood out. Most people think their biggest financial problem is rent, or groceries, or gas. But often, the real issue hides somewhere else. It's the collection of small purchases that never seem important in the moment. A $15 lunch, a $20 subscription, a delivery fee, a coffee stop, a quick online purchase. Each one feels tiny, almost invisible. But here's the catch. Money rarely disappears all at once. It leaks out slowly, like a bucket with a dozen tiny holes. One hole isn't a problem. A dozen holes become a problem very quickly. And that's exactly what I started noticing. Not because I was tracking every transaction, but because the wants category gave those purchases a boundary. Suddenly, every optional purchase had competition. If I spent money here, I had less available later. That simple shift changed everything. Instead of asking, "Can I afford this?" I started asking, "Do I want this more than something else?" That's a completely different question, and surprisingly, it's a much more powerful one. Because most spending isn't logical, it's emotional. We buy things because they feel good in the moment. The 50-30-20 rule doesn't stop that. It just creates a framework that forces priorities to appear naturally. Now, maybe you're already thinking about a problem with this system. What if your needs already take up more than 50% of your income? That's a fair concern, especially if you live somewhere with expensive housing. For many people, rent alone can consume a huge chunk of income, and this is where a lot of financial advice becomes unrealistic. The truth is, the 50-30-20 rule isn't a law. It's a guideline. The goal isn't hitting perfect percentages. The goal is creating balance. Maybe your version becomes 60-20-20. Maybe it's 55-25-20. The exact numbers matter less than having a structure, because structure creates awareness, and awareness changes behavior. But the biggest surprise came from the 20% category. This is where things got really interesting. Let's go back to that $4,000 monthly income. Saving 20% means setting aside $800 every month. Over a year, that's $9,600. Now imagine that money gets invested and earns an average return of 8% annually. Fast forward 20 years. That consistent habit could grow into roughly $450,000. Think about that for a second. Almost $500,000. Not from winning the lottery, not from finding the perfect stock, not from some secret investment strategy, just from consistency. And that's when I realized something important. Most people don't struggle because they're terrible investors. They struggle because they never create enough space to invest in the first place. The investment isn't the hard part. Creating room for the investment is. That's what the rule helps solve. But the most unexpected benefit wasn't mathematical. It was psychological. Because before trying this system, spending often came with guilt. Buy something fun, feel guilty. Spend money on entertainment, feel guilty. Order dinner, feel guilty. It felt like every purchase needed justification. But when spending came from the wants category, something changed. The decision had already been made. That money existed for enjoyment. There was no need to feel bad about using it. No stress, no guilt, no second guessing. Just intentional spending. And that made a bigger difference than I expected. Here's an analogy that helped me understand it. Imagine you're packing for a trip. If everything gets tossed into one giant suitcase, finding anything becomes frustrating. Clothes get mixed with chargers. Shoes get buried under random items. Nothing has a place. Money often works the same way. Without a system, everything gets mixed together. Needs, wants, savings, future goals, daily expenses, they all compete for the same dollars. The 50-30-20 rule works like packing cubes inside that suitcase. Everything has a designated space. You spend less time searching and more time making decisions. That's where the real value comes from. And here's something most people miss. The power of this system isn't actually the percentages. It's the clarity. Because clarity reduces decision fatigue. When every choice requires willpower, eventually willpower runs out. But when a structure already exists, fewer decisions need to be made. The system does part of the work for you. That's why habits often beat motivation. Motivation comes and goes. Systems stay. After 30 days, 3 things stood out. First, I became dramatically more aware of where money was actually going. Not because I tracked every dollar, because the categories make spending patterns obvious. Second, saving started feeling automatic. Instead of trying to save whatever happened to be left over at the end of the month, savings became part of the plan from the beginning. And third, financial stress decreased. That might sound like a small benefit. It isn't. A lot of people spend enormous amounts of mental energy worrying about money, not because they're broke, because they're uncertain. They don't know if they're doing okay. They don't know if they're saving enough. They don't know where their money is going. Uncertainty creates stress. Clarity reduces it. Now, is the 50-30-20 rule perfect? No. No financial system is. Every person's situation is different. Every income level is different. Every city is different. But perfection isn't the goal. Progress is. And having a simple framework is almost always better than having no framework at all. Because the biggest financial mistake isn't usually overspending. It's operating without any plan. So if you want to test this yourself, here's a simple challenge. Calculate your monthly income. Divide it into the 3 categories. Then spend the next 30 days paying attention. Not obsessing, not tracking every penny, just paying attention. You may discover that your spending habits look very different from what you assumed. Most people do. And once that happens, something powerful starts to change. You stop asking where your money went, and you start deciding where it's going. That's a completely different way to think about money. And over time, it can completely change your financial future. So here's the question. Do you currently follow any budgeting system, or are you mostly managing money as it comes? Let me know in the comments. Because sometimes the biggest financial improvement doesn't come from a complicated strategy. Sometimes it comes from one simple rule followed consistently. Please consider subscribing to the channel. It really helps and it means a lot. And if you're serious about building better financial habits, check out the next video.